Bitzskee.
The Dragon and the Mouse. Rory and Miles, The Legend of the Sky Guardian. Episode 3, The Quest for the Thunderbolt Boots. Prologue, atop Storm Mountain. In the mostly peaceful valley of Windermere, a strange thing was happening. High above, the clouds spiraled with dark swirls and spun like yarn. Storm Mountain was rumbling like a sleeping dragon. Tullius, the wise old tortoise village elder with a beard as long as his walking stick, frowned deeply. "Something is wrong," he muttered. Only a sky guardian could find out what. This was Rory's chance, a young dragon with bright azure emerald scales, a big heart and a dream. Alongside his best friend Miles, a clever little mouse with a shiny helmet and tons of courage. Rory gulped. "But I'm still scared of heights," he whispered. Miles climbed onto Rory's back and smiled. "We've got each other, Rory. That's all we need." "How will we get there if I can't fly?" he asked. Tullius turned to the young adventurers. "The journey will not be easy," he said. "It will be hard to see, likely a stench, and maybe unknown entities." Rory and Miles dropped their jaws. They could sense the toughest quest yet. Tullius lifted his stick and pointed towards the mountain. "Now go, young heroes. Windermere needs you." The duo looked at each other and without a word nodded to one another. And with that, the quest to the top of Storm Mountain began. Chapter 1, Through the Stagnant Swamp. Storm Mountain was surrounded by a huge, soggy swamp. The air was pungent from its subdued flow that stagnated the landscape. It bubbled and gurgled and buzzed with busy bugs. As they walked, the water rose. They trudged through slick muck and waded deeper into the misty abyss. Light began to fade. Rory tried to flap his wings, but they were too heavy from the foggy air. Miles spotted something move beneath the water, a long snout, ruby eyes, and sharp teeth. "Gator!" Miles shouted. With haste they rushed up a tree just as the creature snapped and splashed. "What do we do now, Miles?" Rory whispered. Unable to see much in the dense moist air, a short distance away were hanging vines. Miles hopped onto Rory's back and said, "It's our only shot." Rory reached out to grab the slimy vine, but then... Hiss! Snake! Rory screamed. Luckily the snake then coiled up onto another branch and slithered away. "Phew," Miles exhaled and scratched his head. Sorry Rory, I meant that vine." Realizing his mistake, Rory grinned sheepishly. They reached the edge of a sturdy branch. "You ready, Miles?" "Ready," Miles clutched tightly. Rory reached out and bounded into the fog, leaping from branch to branch, swinging on vines that appear out of the haze. Rory held tight as Miles clung to his neck. But then... the last vine snapped. Whoa! Splash! They looked back. All they could see were bright red piercing eyes, as if two dwarf stars come into orbit through a raging dust storm. Rory yelled, "Jump on Miles!" Miles jumped on Rory's back and he swam. He had never swum before, but this did not stop him. Drenched and exhausted, they make it to land safely, having climbed the muddy bank at the swamp's edge. Now the alligator could not reach them. The alligator bit its teeth at them with a snap, then huffed and swam away calmly back into the fog. Miles panted, "Remind me to never go swimming in a swamp again." Rory chuckled, agreed. Chapter 2: The Witch and the Storm. At the foot of the mountain stood a crooked little hut. Out popped a wild head witch, grinning with too many teeth. "You want to reach the top," she cackled. "Then complete 2 challenges. First, climb the tallest peak in the land. Second, well, you'll find out if you survive." "Not that you will," she sniggered. Then the witch vanished in a puff of green smoke. Rory and Miles looked at each other. "Charming," Miles muttered. They climbed for hours. The winding path wrapped around the mountain like a scarf. As night fell, a storm began to howl. Lightning cracked the sky, and rain poured down. They found shelter inside a rocky cave. It became clear they were not the first adventurers to scale this mountain. There was a burnt-out fire and wood piled up in a corner. Miles grabbed some kindling and Rory some logs, and with a little puff Rory lit the fire. "This should see us through till morning," Miles said. In the morning, the clouds still growled, but the storm had passed. As they packed up, Miles stumbled behind a rock. "Whoa! Look at this," he shouted. It was a giant shield, old but shiny. "It's huge," said Rory. "Too small for me, but perfect for you." Miles grinned. "Now I've got a helmet and a shield." Rory smiled back. "Now we are ready for the mountain," he said. They climbed through the thick clouds until the highest peak of Storm Mountain came into view. In the center stood a glowing chest, floating in a bubble of swirling blue light. Miles ran towards it. "Wait!" Rory shouted. Boom! Miles bounced off the glowing bubble and landed in a tumble. Then came a loud crack of thunder. The witch reappeared, her eyes flashing. "You made it? Ah! Now to face your second challenge. Time to meet my pet Impoondulu." Suddenly, the clouds grew black. A gigantic lightning bird with feathers of wind and storm screeched and flapped its mighty wings. Sparks danced across the sky. Suddenly the bird attacked. Lightning bolts rained down like falling stars. Rory shielded Miles with his wing. Zap! A bolt hit Rory's wing. He cried out in pain. "No!" Miles shouted, eyes watery with worry. The witch raised her wand. "You'll be mine now, Sky Guardian," she yelled. A glowing bubble surrounded Rory, trapping him. "Miles, run!" Rory then roared, trying to break free. But it was useless, it had no effect. "The bubble must be stopping me," Rory whimpered. Impoondulu screeched again, sending more lightning down. Miles had an idea. He crouched beneath the shield, just like Tullius's old tortoise shell. Zing! A bolt struck and bounced off the shield, darting toward the witch. Crack! Boom! The witch screamed as green smoke exploded around her. "My precious bird!" And just like that, she was gone. Chapter 3: The Thunderbolt Boots. As the smoke faded, Impoondulu blinked. His eyes softened. The dark clouds melted away. I'm sorry, he said in a deep voice. The witch's spell is broken. The bubble around Rory popped. He stumbled, but smiled. I'm okay. I was never one for flying anyway. Miles smirked and rushed over and hugged his friend. You're not okay, you're amazing. Impundulu swooped down, then stepped forward. You were brave. Now, claim your reward. Miles turned to the glowing chest. Rory nodded. Go on, my friend. You earned it. Miles charged forward. Crunch. His helmet smashed open the chest. Inside were shining Thunderbolt boots, crackling with tiny sparks. These will make you faster and stronger, said Impundulu. You'll never get tired. Miles slipped them on, zap. A flash of light surrounded him. He zipped around so fast that Rory spun in a circle. Whoa! Slow down, buddy. Rory laughed. You're making me dizzy. Impundulu knelt. Come, I'll take you home. He spread his enormous wings. Rory gulped. It'll be okay, said Miles, tapping Rory on his ankle. We've got this, friend. Bracing themselves and with a deep breath they climbed aboard. Back in the valley the menacing clouds had cleared, the raging storm had ceased. Flora appeared to be mending itself, beginning to thrive and blossom once more. Fauna could once again forage, and had sanctuary in the brush to nest away from the strong valley breeze. The villagers gasped as the giant bird flew down. But when they saw Rory and Miles waving from his back, they cheered. Tullius rushed over. You've returned, heroes! He helped Rory bandage his wing. Thank you, Rory. And thank you, Miles. You've both made the valley proud. And thank you. Impundulu, Miles says, helping Tullius with his greeting. Impundulu hung his head. I don't deserve thanks. I caused trouble. You were cursed, said Miles. That wasn't your fault. The lightning bird appreciated Miles's effort to comfort him. Impundulu stayed in the valley for a few days, helping and watching over Rory as he healed. One morning, he said, I must go. I have to make up for my past. But Tullius raised a hand. Why not stay? Be our mountain protector. Watch over us from above. You'd be free. But with purpose. The majestic bird looked at the villagers. They all stared up, hopeful. I would be honored, he said, bowing. The crowd cheered. That night, the valley glowed with lanterns and laughter. There was a feast, songs, and stories. Tullius raised a mug. To Rory, our brave new sky guardian. Rory's eyes lit up. It was what he always wanted. He could not yet fly, he still feared heights. But Rory was honest and courageous. He knew there was more to be done to become the legend Windermere so greatly needed. Tullius trusted the young dragon. He knew Rory was not ready yet, but he had faith and believed he would live up to his destiny. Tullius then turned to the young mouse. And to Miles, the fastest mouse in the land. Tullius also had a lot of respect for the little hero. As small as he was smart and very brave. With Miles by Rory's side they could achieve great things together. and to Impundulu, the mountain protector. And up on the mountaintop, now the clouds could stay peaceful ever after. The end. Well, unless the Valley of Windermere needs them, that is. Moral of the story: even the kindest can make mistakes. We all hope for a second chance. Everyone has what it takes to be a hero and truly advance.
Bitzskee.